I'm ugly. Wow, I am really ugly. If I had lighter skin, it would have been pretty, right? Hey, your skin is pale. Beautiful. Welcome to my 12-year-old self-internal monologue. A monologue that I had every single day when I was a child. But I didn't really think about it. When I was younger, I was brainwashed by the media, and I was a colorist, I guess, because I wanted my dolls to be white or light skinned. I remember going to the store and I always picked white dolls, and I caught my mom one time switching the dolls to a black one. In fact, sometimes I couldn't even recognize it's happening because I was used to witnessing people around me, my friends, my relatives, and even my old self identify, categorize, and stereotype people based on their skin tone. Something just as sinister and subtle as racism. Colorism. The discrimination of those with a darker skin tone, typically among individuals within the same racial or ethnic group. Yes, colorism is deleterious. I am Allah Hisham. Today, I will discuss what colorism is doing to our society, the consequences of it, and how you can prevent it from happening, as well as the benefits of doing so. As someone who is on the darker end of the skin color spectrum, at least by Malaysian standards, I have acknowledged few impacts what colorism has done to me. Therefore, let's together go through one by one, starting from the main problems of the issue, the impacts of it, and ways to prevent it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's begin by looking at today's world. Everyone seems to ignore that the culture of colorism has existed in our society for a long time ago, up until today, and it has also hurt many people individually as well as the society standard. Well, we cannot deny that bias and prejudice linked to skin color have persisted in many cultures and communities since time immemorial. Very few societies have sought to consciously fight such attitudes. White colonials that rule in various parts of Asia and Africa convinced large segments of the colonized that the fair skinned were superior and deserved to be put on a pedestal. Some of these attitudes have remained to this day. In fact, this point of view has become so pervasive even in Malaysia that individuals are subjectively ranked according to the color tones of their skin. Those who have fair skin tones receive preferential treatment both within and between races. Social status, marriage desirability, and academic attainment are all related to light skin tones. Now, colorism is not just isolated to Malaysia. Its effects are global, as best illustrated by the skin lightening and skin bleaching creams all over the world. World Health Organization survey found that nearly 54.3% of women polled in nations including China, Malaysia, the Philippines, and South Korea that they regularly use whitening products. In these countries, skin lightening and skin bleaching is a multi-billion-dollar business, despite the harmful toxins that are present in these products. People are still willing to take the risk and use them in order to achieve what they are led to believe is beautiful. And beauty products have also flaws on this inside. One no brand, for example, Vaseline, even partnered with Facebook to come up with an app that would lighten the skin of your profile picture in order to promote the skin lightening cream. And you can't travel through the Asia without being inundated by advertising and commercials that promise happiness and success if you could just be a little bit lighter. Studies have shown that these messages that we see at a young age have a profound effect on us. In 2017, CNN did a study where they interviewed young children just 5, 6, 7 years old and asked them to place values and attributes to people based on their skin tone. Here's a clip from that study. So these messages that we see at such a young age, the messages that we internalize, they stay with us in our society all around the world. Well, the major problem here is that this notion is further propelled and has caused damages to one's core belief. Core belief. It is built during early childhood and is largely based on interactions and messages about our self-worth. Let's use the example of wearing sunglasses to see this clearly. If we have a certain tint to our sunglasses, we view the color, we view the world through that color, right? So if lighter skin is praised despite the tints or the color we see through our sunglasses, that means still the messages they will receive are they are inherently good, they are worthy, they are lovable, they belong to the society. But children with darker skin can receive a separate type of messages about their skin color. This informs their self-concept or core belief in a different way, where they might feel worthless, unlovable, that they don't belong, and that impacts the lens and how they view the world. Due to wounded core belief, emotional distress and symptoms like depression, hopelessness, loss of motivation, and lack of interest in activities will occur. Not only that, ladies and gentlemen, colorism, in fact, narrows beauty standards. Colorism has long been linked to restrictive beauty standards. Those who embrace colorism not only tend to value lighter skinned people over their darker skinned counterparts, but also they view the former as more intelligent, noble, and attractive than dark skinned people. Actresses Lupita Nyong and Grebel Union have all spoken about how they desired lighter skin growing up because they thought darker skin made them unattractive. All of these actresses are widely considered to be good looking. Even Lupita herself earned the title of People magazine's Most Beautiful in 2014. See, rather than acknowledging that beauty can be found in people of all skin tone, colorism narrows beauty standards by deeming only light-skinned people as beautiful and everyone else as less than. Now, let's see, in any event where you encounter colorism, what can you do? First of all, listen and support those impacted. Skin tone discrimination is a deeply personal issue that can impact a person's confidence and sense of self. When someone feels harmed by colorist behavior or language, take it seriously and respectfully. Make space for them to talk about the way they feel and listen, learn, and understand them rather than respond. Most importantly, when you witness behavior that perpetuates colorism, say something. Because silence means a passive acceptance for what's going on. You don't have to be confrontational or opaque about it. Just be direct about how your words or actions can perpetuate colorism and impact others. Use I statements and avoid making accusations or assumptions about their intentions because somehow they may genuinely not know what they did wrong. Here are some example phrases you can see to interrupt bias when you see it. I feel obligated as your friend to tell you that your comment wasn't okay. Or I wonder if you've considered the impact of your words. So when we support, listen, and never stop fighting for their rights, those who've been experiencing colorism will slowly accept themselves and feel included in society. Therefore, no more bleaching skins and they'll be accepted in every aspect, such as fashion, media, and criminal justice. Not only that, people will be more proud of their colors and ethnicity. I am convinced that beauty standards will shift too when people start being proud of their colors. The standard in which will include every skin tone, every type of shades, and every individual in the world. So, what should you do now? Well, I believe all of you have understood why colorism is deleterious, as I highlighted all my main points starting from its consequences to what can we do to prevent it. Not only that, I also mentioned how decrease in colorism can change the society into a better world. Therefore, I urge all of you to keep seeking information about colorism and have conversations with people who are affected by it and ask them about their experience because you and I we still have a lot to learn, and the more we try to educate ourselves, the closer we will be to a solution. Although eradicating this kind of discrimination altogether is no easy feat, I am hopeful and I am confident enough that through a collective effort, we can end colorism. Let's together fight against colorism once and for all. Thank you. That's all from me.
Okay, so it's my turn now. Can you all see the slides?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay. All right. We shall begin now. Oh, wait. Did you see my slide right now? Right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Seriously.
Okay, sorry. We shall begin now. A leader. What comes to your mind when I mention leaders? How do you portray a great leader? People say be a leader, not a follower. And many of us see a leader as someone who is talkative, outspoken, and so-called people. Meanwhile, quiet and introverts are expected to be followers. This is what we have been instilled in our entire lives from an early age. But little do you know that most of the top leaders today are introverts. Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, and more. Just look around. Today, we live in a world that can't stop talking. Because of this, the world needs the power of introverts. Quiet yet powerful. Ladies and gentlemen, if we overlook and suppress the power of introverts, it's our loss. The stereotype that introverts cannot be successful leaders should be reconsidered. Not only that, but by seeing the success of today's introverted leaders, I believe that introverts can be exceptionally great leaders. Therefore, today I would like to convince you that introverts can be great leaders too, because the perception towards introverted leadership needs to change. Introverted leaders have unique qualities and they can bring a remarkable success to a team. Hence, in my talk today consists of three sections, which is firstly, I will talk about the need to change our perception towards introverts. Secondly, I will show you how introverts can be great leaders. And finally, I will explain how introverted leadership benefits a team. Now we will begin by looking into the perception that needs to be changed. First of all, society are being unconscious biased toward introverts. According to Adam Grant's Wharton research, 96% of people in positions of leadership see themselves as extroverts, and this is because of unconscious bias. No, there's no way such bias against introverts. We're not biased. Well, think again. Our school systems are oriented toward extroverts. Our media world praises the virtues of extroverts, and our typical workplaces prefer extroverts. So when it comes to leadership, introverts are sometimes overlooked and they have not been heard as extroverts. Next, another problem we make is mistaking introverts with shy people when they're not. Not all introverts are shy. People often confuse introversion and shyness because, yes, I can see both are not very talkative, both prefer listening and by being themselves, but introversion and shyness are not identical. Shyness is a fear of judgment, it's an emotion. Introversion is how people respond to stimulation and it's a type of personality. For example, let's say both introverts and shy people skip social events, but this is because introverts feel more energized and comfortable by doing things alone or with a small group of people. They simply prefer a quiet environment to replenish their energy. Meanwhile, shy people avoid social events because they have a strong negative response to huge crowds. Next, forced extroversion. In a recent UK survey, 9 out of 10 people feel forced to behave in an extroverted manner. In our society that favors extroversion more than introversion, there must be a time when people view introversion as a flaw, as a weakness that needs to be cured. As an introvert myself, I couldn't deny this more. Growing up, I felt compelled to act like an extrovert, pushing myself to fake myself to be talkative and loud. I felt like something was wrong with me. I dreaded with people saying me weird just because I am introverted. Indeed, it was unhealthy and tiring. So the nature of society perspective made us blind to the power of introversion and forced us to be someone else. Remember this. Susan Cain said, don't think of introversion as something that needs to be cured. Now that I've shown you society perception towards introverts that needs to be changed, I will now prove to you how introverts can also be great leaders by knowing their qualities. First of all, introverts, they are exceptionally creative. The case of studies show that highly creative people in both arts and science are frequently introverts. I'm not saying that extroverts are not creative. Rather, according to Susan Cain, introverts are better to dive into their creativity. She claims that by being alone allows you to delve into your own ideas and unleash your creativity more. This high level of creativity helps introverts come up with better ideas that others may not think of, and this is making them unique problem solver. This is a natural leadership quality that introverts have. Secondly, introverts are great listeners. Now imagine, people see a good leader as someone who walks into a room and always has something to say first. Here's the problem, here's what I think, and this is what we're going to do. And at the end of the speech, they always say something like, but I'm interested to know your opinion. Well, I would say it is too late. Introvert leaders, on the other hand, learn by listening first. They're not considering what to say while the others still speaking, but instead they listen to learn what to say. For example, at social gathering, rather than a showy chit-chatting, introverts listen carefully to what others say first and internalize it before speaking. Simply put, introverts, they resemble the advice from Nelson Mandela, be the last to speak. Thirdly, introverts, they're not dominating the spotlight. The most essential quality of introverts is that they do not focus all of their intention toward themselves only. They let others shine. For example, they usually delegate tasks to their people and they allow employees to express their ideas too. Therefore, members led by introverted qualities are constantly given opportunities to participate, and this will lead to a better decision making. Now that I've proven to you the quality of introverts, let me now show you how introverted leadership benefits a team. The benefits of introverted leadership can be visualized by contrasting the effectiveness of a team. So first, a team with introverted leaders will be able to survive in the long run, despite all of the challenges that rise along the journey. It is because all of the problems in a team are creatively resolved with deep thinking instead of jumping to rash conclusion. Although it takes time, they're more likely to be successful with unlimited creative solutions. Extroverts, on the other hand, I'm sorry, someone is open the mic. Can you mute? Thank you. Extroverts, on the other hand, have different way of processing information. They're more sensitive to reward. Causing them to be hastier in making decisions. Although the team are quicker in action, the extroversion of leaders pushes them to seek risk. All right, next, as I mentioned earlier, that leaders are great listeners, and they're not dominating the spotlight. A team will likely be heard and productive. Introverts listen to ideas, feedback, and change from the team. And this will give the team members a feeling that they are being heard and appreciated. Well, I believe that we all want a leader who is empathetic toward us. Generally, when a team is led by introverted leadership, everyone may work efficiently and harmoniously toward the goal. Compared to extrovert leadership, extroverts are typically great talkers. So in a social settings, it's easy to get carried away and simply keep chatting because extroverts struggle to keep quiet, to accept quiet during meeting, making them to speak up just to fill the gap. So this is resulting in a less productive team. In general, according to Harvard Business Review research, introverted leaders are better for proactive groups. Ladies and gentlemen, now we have come to an end. In my speech today, I first highlighted the need to change our perception towards introverts in leadership. Second, I proved how introverts can be great leaders by knowing their qualities. And finally, I showed the benefits of introverted leadership in a team. Dear audience, introverts can be great leaders too because the perception towards introverted leadership needs to change. Introverted leaders have a unique qualities and they can bring a remarkable success to a team. So I urge you to embrace introverted leadership. Everyone is different and let us embrace these differences that make us powerful. Yes, it is undeniable that extroverts are good leaders, but we should not ignore the power of introverts to be wonderful leaders. Quiet yet powerful. To conclude, introverts have natural abilities and personality that help them become great leaders. I believe that having a healthy mix of extroverts and introverts in a team is better than having only extroverts. So upon my speech, I want you to remember one thing. Dear introverts, you be you. Unleash your hidden power behind the quiet because the world needs you. As Mahatma Gandhi said, in a gentle way, you can shake the world. Thank you.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, but we cannot see you.
Oh, okay. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamualaikum. If you are a Cantonese, you probably have at least one bottle of Budu somewhere in your kitchen. I am a Cantonese myself and I bring Budu to everywhere I go, even to school, to my part-time job, and even here in college. Well, technically I am not in college right now, but I do bring one bottle to my college. Even a lot of the non-Cantonese love Budu these days. Budu, it is just like those sambals that you can eat with your meals to enhance the taste and your appetite. Have you tried eating Budu with tempoyak and some chilies, or maybe with some squeeze of lime? If you haven't, you seriously have to try it. It is really good, I swear. However, I believe not many are aware of the benefits that this small bottle of appetizer could offer due to the high protein and fiber it contains. Hence, I am here, RAIHANAH. I am here to broaden your view on Budu with the various benefits it offers, especially in terms of health. It is known as an anti-cancer agent, dissolves the bowel issues, makes you smarter, and is rich in vitamin B12. So before I start, let's watch this short video about the benefits of anchovies because Budu is actually made from anchovies.
Kemiri ni bagus untuk jantung dan macam-macam lagi lah. Khasiat dia, tapi kita tak digalakkan makan selalulah.
Ikan bilis ini mengandungi protein yang boleh menguatkan tubuh badan kita.
Ikan bilis ini adalah seperti ikan-ikan yang lain dan juga alternatif daging tanpa lemak yang kaya dengan sumber protein dan juga kalsium.
Ikan bilis walaupun saiz dia kecil tapi dia sangat baik untuk kesihatan jantung, gigi dan tulang disebabkan oleh kalsium dan zat-zat yang lain.
Datang dari laut, mudah kita makan, mudah untuk dimasak dan dia tahan lebih lama kalau disimpan.
Baik untuk ibu mengandung. Sebab kan kalau ibu mengandung ni kan, diorang kena pastikan diorang punya hemoglobin tu lepas standard untuk ibu mengandung.
Jika dahulu
So as you can see, anchovies itself, it offers various of benefits. So Budu is made from anchovies, so of course it also offers the same kind of benefits. So without further ado, let's begin by looking at the first benefit of Budu. So firstly, Budu could boost your immune system and prevent chronic disease. According to the studies conducted by the nutrition experts from Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Germany, and the United States, it has been found that Budu contains glutathione. So what even does this glutathione do? It works as an antioxidant in our body cells that is extremely important to hinder various fatal diseases such as cancer, as well as other severe diseases like diabetes and rheumatoid arthritis, which is an inflammatory and autoimmune disease. And then, according to study mentioned in the Journal of Cancer and Therapy, oxidative stress level rise when glutathione levels are low, which may cause cancer. And additionally, it was mentioned that cancer cells have higher antioxidant levels and oxidative stress tolerance due to the greater glutathione levels. And besides glutathione, Budu also has isoflavones. So isoflavones, it offers similar benefits to glutathione due to their inflammatory and antioxidant properties, which guard against DNA oxidation. Foods high in isoflavones may also have other health advantage. So isoflavones may even be able to combat cancer or prevent heart disease, according to certain studies. Hence, it is believed and proven that Budu is good at preventing cancer and detoxification. And next, to the next benefits. Wait. If you got diarrhea or bowel problem, don't worry, Budu got you. Studies have found that Budu has antibacterial agents, or also called as probiotics, that could greatly help with the digestive system. It was discovered that in Budu, yeast and lactic acid bacteria from a symbiotic relationship. So these two agents are the two forms of probiotics that are crucial in defending the host from dangerous pathogens and boosting immunological function. And compared to other types of protein, Budu contains a material that is simpler for body to digest, absorb, and use. So children who suffer from chronic diarrhea because of a lack of substance in the body can be helped with Budu nutrients, which are processed from fermented anchovies. And when a person with chronic diarrhea consumes Budu as a side dish, their body weight may increase and they may quickly recover. And the main cause of bloating and flatulence in both children and adults in Budu is Tokyo sarafinosa, which is hampered in growth by nutrition. And that leads you to another benefits, which is, I think, the most interesting part. Eating Budu will actually increase your IQ level. So, have you ever heard the myth that says most Kelantan people are smart because of Budu? Well, I would say it is kind of like true because kipjak tuna, or we call it as ike ayo, and Budu are the two of Kelantanese most well-known diets, and these two dishes are rich in omega-3, which is very good for the brain. It stimulates brain cells and it will strengthen the bonds between neurons and strengthen the weak neurons. And not only that, the fact that Budu helps in the digestive system do influence the intelligence as well. It may sound a bit weird, but it is actually proven to be true. The gut does have a direct effect on the brain. Studies have found that the gut microbiome helps scoring better on cognitive tests and performance. Therefore, it comes to a conclusion that Budu does have a role in improving one's IQ level. And then the last one, but definitely not the least, Budu is rich in vitamin B12. According to science, Budu is a significant source of bacteria Klebsiella pneumoniae and Citrobacter frundi, which it creates vitamin B12, which can also be found in any other source of shellfish, fish, or any other meats. So what's so good about this B12 vitamin? B12 vitamin, it is really important for our nerve cells and blood system. What happens when your B12 vitamin is low? You will most likely to experience weak muscles, numbness, trouble walking, nausea, weight loss, irritability, fatigue, and increased heart rate. And not only that, the B12 vitamin is also a brain food. Remember that I mentioned earlier, omega-3 in Budu makes you smarter? Well, since it is also contain B12 vitamin, it just gave even more evidence on how Budu could make you smarter. And let me tell you one interesting fact. For each meal or 2 tablespoons, Budu contains 1.5 to 6.3 micrograms of vitamin B12 per 100 grams. So this is more than enough for the average person's body in a day. You will not need to worry about your body's vitamins B12 levels if you consume Budu. And not only does it have B12 vitamin, Budu is simply rich in vitamin B in general. Do you know that as a natural antioxidant, vitamin B fights free radicals, the chemicals that cause aging and disease, and aids in the recovery of a damaged complexion. The isoflavones that I mentioned earlier also provide the same benefit. So let me highlight it once again. Budu prevents aging. So girls, what are you waiting for? Let's get 1 bottle each and stay pretty and young with Budu. Now that we have seen the underlying benefits of Budu that include improving our immune system and IQ levels, preventing disease and aging, and it helps with diarrhea, let's all go to the nearest store and start consuming Budu for your health. Don't you want to get smarter and pretty? Tunggu apa lagi, main laki Budu. Even if you do not mind the benefits, you can still eat it to make your meal better. I guarantee you, your meal will taste even more better and you are no longer be boring with Budu. And with that, I will end my speech here. Thank you.
Nak start terus ke recording?
I think just continue.
Sekejap Okay, I will start right now. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me take a minute to introduce myself first. My name is AUNI UMAIRAH. I'm nobody, but just a Malaysian who loves the natures. My topic today is don't trash our future, but recycle. I know you heard this topic almost at every campaign everywhere, but this issue still hot topic that there almost no progression even though we in 2023. Did you know that currently over 23,000 tons of waste is produced each day in Malaysia. However, this amount is expected to rise to 30,000 tons by the year 2020. The amount of waste generated continues to increase due to the increased population and developments, and only less than 5% of the waste is being recycled. For the issue I mentioned earlier, let's be honest, in Malaysia, we live in a comfortable life. Almost everywhere we protect in cool environment like air-conditioned house, drive in conditioned car, shop in air-conditioned shopping mall. We barely feel the hot weather, even though Malaysia has a tropical climate. It's wonderful life, but it's a wonderful life. Or is it? But it's not. Our comfortable life has made us didn't realize that it is affecting our earth negatively because it's to die slowly. I'm here today. I'm here today to talk about the needs for us to change our habit to start recycling. As a Malaysian that never recycle my trash before this, I know how hard it can be to make recycle as a new habit. I also know it's difficult to change the habit that has become our own culture because there is no facility to recycle such a recycle bin. Made it difficult for us to separate recycled items. Don't worry, I know Malaysia is very lazy, including me, but we can just do our small parts in recycle, which is very simple, effective, creative, and satisfying process that all of us can do. Firstly, we can start by segregate our wet and dry waste. Don't just club your waste together. Make provision for separate wet waste and dry waste deposit. The example of wet waste is a fruit and vegetable piece, tea bags, and leftover foods. And the example of dry waste is include wood, metal, glass, and related products. Dry waste usually end up in landfills, and the wet waste can go back into compost bins. Cigarette waste is very important for the environment. Next, bring your own tumbler everywhere, because you can use your own tumbler when buying coffee or drinks. First, there is no waste of plastic and straw. It definitely can save the environment, right? When you buy coffee, for the example, when you buy coffee in Starbucks, you can get discount when using your own tumbler. You can like we can say that you can kill two birds with one stone, saving the environment and your wallet at the same time. Let's move on to the visual the benefits of recycling to our environment and earth by contrasting the lifestyle choice we have. First, conserving nature resource. Recycling glass reduce. First, conserving nature resource. Recycling paper and save trees can save trees and forests. Yes, you can plant new trees, but you can replace virgin rainforests and ancient woodlands once they lost. Recycling glass reduce the need to use new raw materials like sand. It sounds hard to believe, but supply of some type of sand are starting to get low around the world. Next, protecting ecosystem and wildlife. Recycling reduces the need to grow, harvest, or extract new raw materials from the earth. That in turn lessen the harmful disruption and damage being done to the natural world. Fewer forests cut down, rivers deflated, wild animals harmed and displaced, and less pollution of water, soil, and air. And of course, if our plastic waste is not safely put in the recycle, it can be blown and washed into river, sea, and end up hundreds or thousands of miles away, polluting coastline, waterways, and become a problem for everyone. Okay, my talk comes to end. I would like to highlight again some point in my talk today. First, I highlight on how we live today. Second, recycling activity that can save our earth. Finally, I show the benefits of recycling. In closing, I would like to urge you to start recycling by suggest some recycle activity that you can do, the simple and creative one. First, you can use the bottle and glass that you did not use anymore and turn something more creative. You also can spend more time with children with recycle games such as a Budu scarecrow. You know what? You know the one at the party, and build a robot from box and make garden spoils. That's all from me. Thank you.
Can all of you see my slide?
Yes.
Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Fatima Sofia. So what can you tell me when you hear the word pandemics? Some of you might say COVID, but some of you might even say lockdown. But the way I remember it, Dalgona coffee. I think all of you know the trend in TikTok, right? So, but the most crucial thing that has brought impact to us since pandemic until now is education. To be specific, online learning. Even after 2 years of COVID, I think all of you could not believe that we are still stuck with online learning. People always say everything happened for a good reason, and I do believe online learning happened for a good reason. By now, everyone should be aware of online learning, since that is what we are doing right now. But do you think people would believe if I say online learning is better than physical learning, than what we used to do? Do you think people would believe if I say yes to online learning, but no to physical education? So according to a study that was carried out in 2018 by Learning House, 85% of students who had previously participated in both in-person and online courses reported that they believe the experience with online courses were either similar or better compared to classroom courses. As I stand here today, I would like to persuade you to say yes to online learning, but no to physical education. I will firstly go over a brief history of online learning. Secondly, why online learning is better than physical education. And third, I will say what online learning can do, but physical education can. And last but not least, why we should continue online learning rather than physical education. Ladies and gentlemen, let's start with our interesting point, shall we? History. I bet all of you think that online learning was created after the pandemic, right? But it's actually not. The early types of online learning was taught shorthand by Caleb Phillips, whose advertising in Boston Gazette marketed a private course to individuals wanting to study through weekly mail lecture presented the earlier notes reference to corresponding course in 1728, Boston. I repeat, 1728. Well, I think all of you were just shocked by hearing the starting year of online learning, but the history does not stop there. Online classes really took off in 1858 when the University of London started giving degrees through their Accenture program. So Accenture learning program widely copied and helped British higher education what it is today. They also help students in other Commonwealth countries study for less money. Over time, the number of students has steadily grown. There is no doubt that online learning has been a success since day one. Although it may seem that online learning has existed for a long time, it was not that effective during the old days, since not many people were exposed to technology until the 2000s. But today, there is no excuse for lack of technology, despite there are still numbers of people that continue with online learning, especially the ones that stay far from each other. At this point, I know all of you that are aware of the rising time of COVID-19, of online learning, which was COVID-19. Oops, blooper. Okay. I will be moving on to the next point, which interesting part of my speech for today. Why online learning is better than physical education for students? As the most crucial part in my speech for today, because as most people who are involved in online learning until now is students, they just like us. The main reason why it's better than physical learning is that students can gain more knowledge than in standard class. I cannot deny this statement because I student myself, I believe in that. Students in online learning course with multimedia content learn 5 times more material than students in traditional face-to-face session. According to IBM, students may work at their own speed since online courses provide them complete control over their education compared to physical class where you need to follow the teacher's speeds. In online class, students work quicker and acquire more material than they would otherwise. For example, recorded lecture, you can pause whenever you don't understand, you can continue the next chapter, you can moving on to the next part if you feel comfortable and understand completely about the chapter. Next, online learning takes less time than classroom lecture. According to Brandon Hall's study on workplace e-learning, people spend 40 to 60 less time on this kind of learning than they would in a typical classroom environment. It is also important to note that most e-learning alternatives enable students to split the course's time any way they see appropriate. They don't need to be able to spend much time on the course, just half an hour each day during lunch break would do. In addition, students can do part-time jobs since they have a flexible time. This will help the students to earn more money to pay their personal bills or education expenses. As a result, the students can lessen their parents' burden and be independent. Next, online learning is better than physical education to educators. The one and only reason is online learning can help educators communicate with students more efficiently. A huge lecture hall might be frightening to many students. For some students, asking a question in the middle of lecture might be intimidating, and waiting until the classroom after class can be forgetting the question or competing with a swarm of students for the teacher's limited time and attention. Working out the guides to speak with the teachers, especially difficult for introvert students. So let me ask you a question. How many extrovert students in your class? More than 5? No, maybe 3 or 2, but introvert is more. So online learning allows students with different communication skills and degrees of comfort to engage in class. This enables the educators to respond to student inquiries more efficiently while also encouraging more dynamic and engaging class discussion. In my opinion, I believe the educator will enjoy teaching the class if the environment is lively and all the students give commitment, attention, and most importantly, understand the lecture given. So, next, ladies and gentlemen, what online learning can do but physical education can. Firstly, online learning offers a secure and comfortable environment so we can study in comfort place and get the knowledge more. Online classroom enable you to learn from the convenience of your own home. It's entirely home-based and you have total control over your surroundings. There will be no bullying, fighting, or other disruptive behavior in the classroom. There will also be less disease transfer from others. As a result, we can create a healthy-minded student and stop them from being influenced by the peers. Next, online learning provides less cost than physical education. I think this is an obvious point. Online class need less supplies. As a result, it is less expensive than traditional classroom, right? You don't need to buy an expensive book and you just need to purchase ebook and have a reliable internet connection or share with your friends your notes, your slide from your lecture. They're not required to acquire a costly textbook. Why textbook nowadays is 100 for one book is 100 ringgit, right? So you just buy ebook for maybe $10, $10 and enjoy for your lifetime. Furthermore, the majority of the material are made available online by the teaching faculty. So, my last point for today, why we should continue online learning rather than physical education. Because of what? People can generate new skills that can help the future. Online learning gives us an opportunity to learn technical skills that will be useful for our future. People who have good technical skills are more demanding nowadays. Most companies are looking for that employees who know how to use common collaboration tools, content management system, and solve simple problems. Furthermore, most companies are using virtual teams, so it's important for you to learn how to work together from a distance. You have to learn how to adapt and play around with that. In my opinion, I believe that if you have the basic technical skill, it will help you even more. That is why it's better to continue and say yes to online learning, but no to physical education. As a conclusion, in my speech today, I first explained a brief about the history of online learning. Then I highlighted my main point, why is it better than physical learning to students and educators, and what online learning can do, but physical education can. Last but not least, why we should continue online learning rather than physical education. Online learning can help students and educators provide benefits that physical education can and improve our future generation. All in all, online learning is not going anytime soon. As the number of people who own computers and mobile phones expand across the world, e-learning becomes increasingly viable and accessible. Internet connection speed are increased, enabling for the use of additional multimedia teaching approaches. Since the internet is unlimited, let the world enjoy and learn unlimited knowledge as well. I represent all the students to say yes to online learning, but no to physical education. So let's continue online learning. That's all for me. Thank you.